Yes, I'm Kai, this is CaiLife, and welcome to another ROG Ally X performance test video with the new AFMF2 update, the AMD Fluid Motion Frame update. And this is running Call of Duty Black Ops 6, one of my favorite games to play. We're going to look a little bit at the multiplayer, the general multiplayer action in the game, and also, of course, some Warzone, just so you can see what this new software update does to one of the most popular FPS shooters around, and certainly one of my favorite ways to unwind. Here are the graphics settings that I'm using in-game then. Now, you'll know if you play Call of Duty that these are super customizable. So have a little tinker, but this is what I'm running, and we're running at 1080p resolution. We're running in that turbo mode, plugged in, so at that full 30 watts whack. Remember, not plugged in, that will drop to 25 watts. And of course, we're going to be running the new AFMF2 from that update. Now, before we get stuck into the game proper, I do want you to just check that you have AFMF2 enabled in your AMD software. So you need to make sure that that says 2 next to the Fluid Motion Frames. And it's also worth showing you that changing this setting in the command center also directly changes it within that software. So you don't need to access the AMD software to enable or disable Fluid Motion Frames, the super resolution, or the image sharpening. It can all be done within the command center, and it will communicate directly with the AMD software. Now, naturally, I'm going to take us into a little bit of Nuketown because it's just chili con carnage from start to finish, and there's always something going on. So it's a good stress test, I feel like, if you're playing Call of Duty. Like I say, we're playing in the full resolution then. We're at 1080p. We've got AFMF2 on. And as you can see, it runs like an absolute dream. Now, just like in a few other games that I've played, occasionally I would have previously had a little bit of stuttering and maybe some frame drops. Less so in Call of Duty because this game is just super well optimized across so many different platforms and so many different gens of console. And the ROG Ally X is no different here. As I say, the graphics settings are so customizable in-game, let alone what you're able to do within the command center on your Ally X. It's always worth experimenting. If you get a little bit of stuttering or you get a little bit of undesirable game performance, you can always drop the resolution, and you can always then use the upscaling. It's always a super useful way to retain some frames whilst also getting some really nice graphical fidelity. Now, the one thing I will say, and this is super important when you're playing Call of Duty, whether you're playing Warzone or whether you're playing multiplayer, if you have any reason to change your power mode, do not change it whilst the game is running. There have been so many instances of people being banned by the Ricochet anti-cheat software. So, if say you're playing on battery power and you get a low battery message, and you think, right, I'll just drop from turbo to performance or performance down to silent mode, don't do it whilst you are playing the game. Quit the game, get back to the desktop, get back to Windows, change that power profile, and then relaunch the game. Because even though not everyone has been banned from changing their power profile whilst playing Call of Duty, it seems to be the most likely common denominator right now from people that have been banned. So don't take that risk. Changing your resolution will not put you in any danger. So if you need to do that and you want to trial different performances and different screen resolutions, then feel free to try that. But as I say, fair warning, if you have the need to change your power profile, then quit the game, relaunch the game after you have changed your power profile and the desktop. Now you can see just how well it runs though. It runs so smoothly, and the performance of Call of Duty on the Ally X really does mean that I'm so confident using the embedded controller. Whereas if I was playing a game where I feel like I want to be competitive, my enjoyment from the game comes from my being competitive, I'd usually whack in my external controller and make sure that I'm as comfortable as I am with the controls, I have as little latency as possible. But the controls are so nice on the Ally X, and the responsiveness and the performance of this game is such that I'm just so content just using the embedded controller. All right, let's move across to Warzone and my badass feline skin, and I'm feline good when I'm playing this game, let me tell you that. It runs just as smoothly as when I'm playing standard multiplayer, and you can see the frame rate holds up, it's still super high. Again, I would be wary of playing Warzone on a screen this small usually, because you want to be able to peep, you want to be able to pick out those people in the distance. But again, the performance is so good on the Ally X. As much enjoyment from playing this on my Ally X as I do on a console. Again, as you can see here, this thing again, as you can see here, this thing runs so smoothly. Like I said, I've got confidence in the movement. I don't feel like I have to anticipate any sort of movement or there's any kind of delay. No frame drops. And I mean, added to this, I'm playing on my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi isn't even particularly strong. So this is still leaving scope for putting this into my dock and running a wired Ethernet cable so that I'd get a really nice, strong internet connection when playing this, which obviously is the most advisable way to play COD. Right, well, I hope that's helped make your decision in terms of whether you can play some Call of Duty multiplayer or Warzone. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't already, then do drop a like. If you haven't subscribed, then come and join that CaiLife community and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, and then you'll know when I'm dropping some new content on the channel. But for now, my friends, season's greetings, Merry Christmas, and see you on the next video.